Hey everyone. So, let's talk about one of the most recognizable symbols in the entire world, the Bindi. You know, that little dot you see on the forehead? It might seem pretty simple, right? Well, it turns out it has this incredibly deep and fascinating story behind it. Okay, let's get right into it.
What if I told you that this tiny little dot holds not just, 5,000 years of human history, but maybe even the key to the future of our healthcare? That's the wild journey we're going on today, from ancient rituals all the way to cutting-edge science. So first, we have to go back, way, way back. We're going to start with the Bindi's deep, deep spiritual roots as the ancient third eye.
Okay, this timeline really puts it into perspective. We're talking about a history that is just massive. We've found evidence of these forehead markings on little clay figures from the Indus Valley civilization. That's over 5,000 years ago. By the time we get to the Rig Veda, which is one of Hinduism's most sacred texts, it's already a well-known practice. And in the beginning, the forms it took were really raw, really symbolic. Sometimes just a cut leaf or even a drop of blood to signify protection, which thankfully was later replaced by red pigments like kumkum. The word itself, Bindi, actually comes from the Sanskrit word Bindu. Now that literally means point or drop, but this is so much more than just a literal name. In Hindu philosophy, Bindu is this huge, profound concept. It's seen as the metaphysical starting point for the entire universe, the single dot from which everything else expands. So when you see a Bindi, you're not just looking at a dot, you're looking at a tiny representation of the cosmos. Pretty cool, right?
So why is it placed right there, smack between the eyebrows? Well, that spot is absolutely no accident. It's the location of the Ajna Chakra, the sixth of the 7 major energy centers in the body. And this is what's famously known as the third eye, the center of your intuition, your inner wisdom. The belief is that putting a Bindi right there helps to focus your energy and strengthen concentration, basically helping to wake up that inner sight.
Okay, so starting from these really deep spiritual origins, the Bindi started to evolve. It took on all these new layers of meaning. It became a super clear symbol of a person's status in society, and eventually a full-blown statement of personal style.
For centuries, the color of a Bindi sent a really powerful message. It was a social signal. If you saw a woman with a red Bindi, it traditionally meant she was a married Hindu woman. It was a symbol of love, fertility, prosperity. It was kind of like a wedding ring, but for your forehead. A black Bindi, on the other hand, was usually worn by unmarried women or sometimes widows, and it could also be a way to ward off evil spirits or show that you were in a period of grief. But let's get practical. Before all the modern stick-ons, how did they actually get it to stay put all day? I love this quote from a grandmother, because it gives us this perfect little peek into the everyday reality. You just dab a little bit of Vaseline or some kind of waxy cream on your forehead, and that would act as the glue for the kumkum powder. It's just a great example of how this ancient tradition was made to work with whatever people had around.
Then in 1986, everything changed. This was the moment the Shilpa Bindi hit the market, and it was a total game changer. For the first time, you could buy these easy-to-use, self-adhesive Bindis made out of felt. This one little invention completely transformed the Bindi from a daily, sometimes messy ritual into a super convenient, accessible fashion accessory. It really opened the floodgates for all the styles, colors, and crazy designs we see today.
And as you can imagine, this new convenience, plus the huge influence of Bollywood, helped launch the Bindi onto the world stage. And with that global spotlight came a whole new and pretty complex global conversation.
Suddenly, in the 90s and 2000s, the Bindi just exploded into Western pop culture. You had artists like Madonna and Gwen Stefani making it a huge part of their look, and then a whole new generation of stars like Katy Perry and Selena Gomez followed suit. It was catapulted into the global fashion scene in a way no one had ever seen before. But all that popularity kicked off a really serious and important debate. As this quote gets at, a lot of critics started to argue that when you wear the Bindi just as a trendy accessory, without understanding its thousands of years of spiritual and cultural meaning, well, that can be a form of cultural appropriation. It runs the risk of turning a sacred symbol into just another disposable fashion item. And in response to all that, we're now seeing this really powerful movement of reclamation. A young, super digitally savvy generation from the South Asian diaspora is taking back the narrative. Through social media trends and with amazing icons like the singer Laya Raj, they are proudly wearing the Bindi as a symbol of their heritage, their identity, and defining what it means on their own terms.
And that brings us to the most unexpected twist in this whole story.
we're about to pivot hard, away from culture and fashion, and straight into technology and the future of our health. But first, there's a surprising little detour. With the mass production of the sticker Bindi, a problem nobody saw coming started to pop up. Could this modern fashion accessory actually be a health risk?
And this chart illustrates the problem perfectly. Traditional kumkum, super safe. But a lot of modern sticker bindis use an industrial-strength adhesive that has a chemical called PTBP in it. Well, dermatologists found out this chemical can be toxic to our pigment-producing skin cells, and it can cause a condition called bindi leukoderma, which is basically a permanent white patch on the skin where the bindi was.
So the modern Bindi accidentally created a health problem. But what if it could also be a cure? This is where the story takes a truly mind-blowing turn. I want you to meet the life-saving dot. This is a project that completely redesigned the Bindi to fight iodine deficiency. This is a massive public health crisis in India, affecting something like 350 million people. The idea is so simple but so brilliant. Let's use a daily cultural habit that's already in place to deliver a nutrient that can save lives. So, how on earth does it work? Well, each Bindi is coated with a special adhesive that has between 150 and 220 micrograms of iodine infused into it. When you wear it all day, the iodine gets absorbed right through your skin. It works just like a nicotine patch, and it provides the perfect recommended daily dose. It's an absolutely seamless way to deliver a nutritional supplement.
But hold on, because the story isn't over. The next evolution is even more futuristic. It's called the e-Bindi, or the smart Bindi. Right now, researchers are figuring out how to turn this ancient symbol into a super sophisticated, non-invasive wearable sensor that can monitor your health in real time.
I mean, just look at the potential here. This is incredible. We're talking about a Bindi that could have tiny microneedles to painlessly check your glucose levels if you have diabetes. It could have sensors embedded in it to track your heart rate and blood pressure constantly. It could even track your temperature or metabolic markers while you exercise. The third eye of intuition could literally become a digital eye of your own physiology.
So yeah, from a metaphysical point representing the entire universe, to a symbol of status, to a fashion statement, a weird health risk, a life-saving cure, and now a futuristic health sensor. This simple little dot has had one of the most remarkable journeys of any object in human culture. It really makes you wonder, what could it possibly become next?
Don't forget to like and subscribe for more How Meets History.